What's up, everybody? It's your boy Keefe with another GhostColdMag.com live stream. Times vary every day as I try to figure out a schedule for this shit. But here we go. I'm going to do another live stream. Dillinger Compounds here. What up? What up? Didn't pull the mic into the shot, did I? Boom arm action. Here we go. A lot of big news in the world today on a Monday. It's the last Monday before, the next to last Monday before a holiday. It's usually like the last PR push of the year. A lot of people go on vacation. There's been a ton of album announcements and new singles and a ton of tours and even some festivals. But this one takes the cake. And I thought, man, I got to jump on and talk about this at least for a little bit before I go sing some metal karaoke. First of all, I hope everybody's good out there. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. In case you didn't know, since 2012, the year of the Doomsday Clock, Ghost Cult Mag has been your everyday resource, 24/7, 365, never sleeping, never stopping, for rock and metal news, rumors, drama, concerts and music festivals, and interviews with bands, and podcasts, and all the things. We do all the things. We try all the time. Looks like some people are chiming in. The best experience for this is on YouTube and Twitch, and right now Facebook and Instagram. We'll try to get to your questions if you have any. If you're here on YouTube, drop us a super like or a super thanks. Join the conversation. I will try to answer your questions. Tito, Sean is here. Thomas Daniels, Phony Rick. At least we know who you are, pal. Tenafly 860's here. Thanks for passing by. I appreciate everybody. So, he's over here. He's over there. Dillinger Compound, hanging on the tube of you. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. I appreciate everybody. Looks like we got some early watchers, and I'm thankful. I really am. So what happened today? Will they or won't they? It's been the story of the entire year. This has been talked about more than CEOs getting gunned down, and more talk than Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. What is the story with System of a Down? And I thought to myself, what's a good way to express this? What in the actual fuck is going on with System of a Down? Because on one hand, what's up, Gearhead 742? On one hand, we're done and we're never coming back. And Serj puts out his book in which he lays out very clearly how he would prefer anything than be in this band. And then they announce stadium tours, stadium co-headline tours, stadiums, like not football, not arenas, stadiums, 80,000 seats, 100,000 seats in some cases, crazy. And then today they announced a South American tour. So will they or won't they is the topic of this. And if you're a big System fan, I want to hear from you. I initially was not a System fan when they first came out. Sounds incredible. I love a lot of new metal, and I love a lot of underground and avant-garde music. I always have. And when System of a Down hit in 1998, we're not going to do their whole history here, but when they hit, I was like, where did this band come from, and how come there's so much hype around them? Because literally they seem to come from out of nowhere, and right off the bat, they were opening for Fear Factory and Static X and then Slayer within months of dropping that debut album. So it was wild. And then obviously Toxicity hit, and I gave them another chance. I was like, okay, this band is actually really great. And then they kind of went on hiatus. Toronto is getting the better part of the deal. Absolutely. Of those 3 stadium shows, or 6 stadium shows now, we'll talk about that in a second. System and Deftones. I just saw that pairing, and we're going to talk about that show. And yeah, wild shit. Again, if you're a fan of System of a Down, how do you feel about, on one hand, I may never see them. There's still people who haven't seen the band ever because they were on hiatus for a long time. And even when they came back, they were not really heavily touring every year. They just kind of pop up and do sporadic things. And so there's a lot of fans that they have that still haven't seen the band live, or still just don't have that experience. And so the demand is there, and I get that. And the money must be astronomical, but you'd have to think that guys who, especially for 3 of those 4 guys, who definitely their idealism and their altruism definitely surpasses their ability to make money and capitalism and their desire for things like that. It can't just be about the money. They must want to do this, right? So we're going to address those things in this, what I consider to be probably brief live stream, but who knows? I expected yesterday's live stream about Soundgarden to be kind of brief, and it went for like almost an hour because people were just conversating, which I like. That's the best kind of thing. If you want me to talk at you, I will gladly talk at you ad infinitum. But if you want to conversate, that's the best. Let's do it up. Let's chop it up together. That's what I like. So I just wanted to kind of the first system it's so fucking heavy. It's so fucking heavy. It's so heavy. It surprised me that Rick Rubin did it, even though he's the Slayer guy, right? Because he's also that same year that first system record came out. I'm pretty sure it's the same year of Californication by the Chili's, which to me is the wussification of the Red Hot Chili Peppers dawning of it. I'm good with ballads and I'm good with pop songs, and I'm okay with bands making hit songs, especially when they're catchy as fuck. But on the other hand, I was like, this is so soft and so shitty, I don't like it anymore. But that's me. A lot of people love those Stadium Arcadium and Californication Chili's records. And then there's a whole other conversation we need to have about Rick Rubin at some point, maybe on a live stream. Like, is he even good at his job? Does he know what the fuck he's doing in the studio? We don't even know. We don't even know. Black Sabbath has said, I don't really know what they paid this guy for. System will tell you, because Serj said it in his book, like, this guy literally shaped us into the band we are. Fireball Rust is here. What up, what up? What's up, Kane? Good to see you. Welcome on YouTube. Appreciate you watching. If you're new, please like and subscribe. Feel free to join the conversation, especially if you are a fan of System of a Down, whilst the city of San Francisco is behind me. I got a new sticker on my my water bottle here. This is a good old Corpse Paint Records with the, you can't really see it here, but it's like the it's an evil corpse painted crawfish, because they're from Louisiana, and they will be putting out the new album by supergroup Sun Don't Shine, featuring members of Typo Negative and Crowbar. 1 Hot Minute. Yo, I love 1 Hot Minute. Just peaches all day. Gabe from Andy Mosby's is here. Just preaches all day. Serj, yeah, for sure. So System of a Down announces South American tour today, just a week after selling out basically 6 stadium shows. Not a whole tour. So, like, let's not get carried away. They're not back full time. And I don't think they would ever come back full time. But as I said, Serjtankian continues to say, oh, like, beat up and down in the press and in his book, I don't really want to do this band. There was a revelation in the book that I'll talk about later on that really, I've never heard anything like this before. Oh, Tank Crimes, of course. I love me some Tank Crimes. Shout out to Scotty Heath and Tank Crimes. Necrot from Tank Crimes getting on that big Cavalera tour today. That's huge for them. I know they've toured together before. So System announces this tour, and I'll just blow up the screen for a minute because you don't need to see my ugly mug for the whole time. So not that many shows. So they already have the 6 in America. This is for spring of 2025. Colombia, Peru, Chile, Argentina, and Brazil. And looks like 3 in Brazil. So, and because Brazil's huge, right? And so huge cities, right? It's not just Rio. It's humongous. So did they run out of money? I can't imagine. I can't imagine them running out of money. They have so much money because they haven't been doing shit. Like, if you're out there living your life, you spend up all your money. Like, the secret to being rich is not being rich and making tons of money. It's keeping your money. And I think Serj is interested in art, which is why he's got a studio in his home now, and he does what he does. And Darren tours a lot. With he brought back Scars on Broadway. And Chavo has his new band, so they have a new record deal on a great label with seemed to be a very well-received album, 7 Hours After Violet. We'll talk about that later. And I don't think money, like, that's the thing. Like, if these guys were just regular old Joes and they weren't this, like, political machine, I would just think, like, oh, yeah, make that money while you can. This is, like, millions a show. Make it now. But at the other hand, it's like, no, that's not who these guys are. They must want to be together. But at the same time, everything they show publicly is like, no, we don't want to be together. And we'll talk about why. But, great for the fans. Like, the number one thing is, like, if you're a fan of System of a Down, there are a lot of people who have never seen them. So it's wild. Actually, here, I'll put these up. I will, just a reminder, we are ghostcultmag.com, and you can check us out all the time. But let's put these comments up, because that's let's do it up. Dillinger started out by saying Toronto's getting the better part of the deal. Of those 3 shows, we're going to discuss it. System records your favorite. Everybody that's watching, what's your favorite System of a Down record? His name isn't Joe, dude. All right, Dad, you're funny. I'll give you some credit where credit is due for being funny. I like funny. Kane says, what's up? Gabe is here. What up? Check out Gabe's new album, Vision. And I think he's got another new one coming soon. And then One Hot Minute, Word, Chili's. We talked a little bit about the Chili's and Rick Rubin. Like Rick Rubin's legacy is just permanently tied to System of a Down. So I was just like, why are they doing all this activity? So these are the original 3 posters for the shows next summer: System of a Down and Korn, even though it's New Jersey, by the way. I love the King Kong homage on the Empire State Building. And then Chicago with System of a Down and Avenged Sevenfold. And then as Dillinger Compound said, System of a Down and Deftones for Toronto. Easily I would prefer to see that show. But, pretty badass. And then, very interesting Perphery and Wisp to open all those shows, because, that's Perphery. I know that they're like internet famous, but I was like, wow, that they don't even. So it's like we can kind of put whoever we want on these shows. We don't necessarily need another band to draw. If they needed another band to draw, they would have brought another big name band. And not that Perphery isn't a big name band, but they're certainly not more than a theater band at this point. They can do 3,000, 5,000 a night. They're not going to do a huge place by themselves. And Wisp is a smaller band even. So that's cool. We're gonna put some shine on some bands that maybe haven't got the love yet, haven't got the hype yet. And honestly, all those bands kind of sound different. Like System and Korn kind of started as new metal and kind of became other things. System and Avenged Sevenfold, not remotely new metal, but the same era, right? Like overlap eras. And System and Deftones clearly peers. So, and then they sold these again. I get the hype. They haven't toured a lot. The scarcity. There's a thing in marketing. My day job is marketing. And there's a thing called the deprivation strategy. It's like when McDonald's puts out the McRib, which is out right now. It is not actual. I'm not sure it's actually meat. And when McDonald's puts out the McRib, everyone loses their fucking minds. Everyone loses their fucking minds, like the Joker, right? Because like it's never around. So suddenly, it's back, it's gone. And like if they kept it out all the time, it probably wouldn't sell well. People would get sick of it. People would be like, ugh, this is gross after eating 2 of them. And so yeah, I think it's inherently interesting that the band is, I don't want to say cashing in, but cashing in. Maybe they're cashing in. I can't believe it's all about money, but obviously the money is too much to ignore. And so we'll get to that a little later on. And just a reminder, we use StreamYard to bring you this live stream everywhere, unfortunately, but TikTok soon. We will have TikTok. Dead Alive Metal has passed by. What up, what up? Tommy Brothers is here. Chameleon is here. It's probably not your name, but I see commas. That's what I do. So StreamYard is your one-stop source for live streaming supremacy. This is how we have this awesome live stream set up. I can look at most of the comments, especially on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch. I can chat with you guys in real time and all the things. So, absolutely a thing for you guys to enjoy. And if you are interested in streaming, especially a lot of people are joining Twitch right now and YouTube for the first time, if you sign up with our link in the description, you get $10 off your first payment to StreamYard, and we get $10 off on our bill, which is, Dutch door action. We like it. StreamYard, check it out. So what's been going on lately with System of a Down? Like, where's the proof of life here? We've been talking on, and we'll probably do a live stream on it someday on a slow news day. Who are the bands that are going to take over? Who are the new headliners? We see this all year long. Who are your new headline bands? When Metallica, which I just did an episode the other day on, like, this is the last few years of Metallica, absolutely. Iron Maiden, we just saw Nico McBrain retire. This is the last couple of years of Iron Maiden, without a doubt. Slipknot, maybe you get like 5 more years out of them, maybe 10, because they were a little bit younger than those 2 bands, but not that much, especially with Corey having his, well-documented health problems and breakdowns, and he does not want to do this forever. He's just, feels like, won't be Slipknot big, but he can go out as a solo artist and do stuff. So, just to reel it back for a second, like, this has been a humongous year for System of a Down. The last few years have been a humongous year for System of a Down, ever since the plague ended. Or it didn't really end, but ever since it died down to an acceptable level so we could get back to society. And so this year, Toxicity, the title track off of the Toxicity album, hit 1 billion streams. System of a Down has 1 billion streams on more than one song. It's insane. It's insane, but it's huge. Like, that's how big this band is. And I think we saw the same thing with Deftones when Deftones became TikTok famous, and now they're doing an arena headline tour and a co-headline stadium show, or a few. I mean, you know, that's humongous. And they're doing arenas in Europe also. So, you know, I think it was a slow build for Deftones, who, like System of a Down, haven't put out that much music, more than System, but not all that much, actually. Maybe about the same amount of records as Tool. Earlier this summer, I saw this show here in San Francisco at Golden Gate Park: System of a Down, Deftones, the Mars Volta, Viagra Boys, and Vows. And even though the show in the park was a little bit of a shit show, it was beautifully run. The sound was immaculate. All the bands were great. I had a fantastic time. It rained a little bit, but it wasn't a big deal. System played, I think, because there were time restrictions for the neighborhood, because it's a ritzy part of town where Golden Gate Park is, right next to where the riches all live, the Richie Riches. And so I think each band had an hour and a half, and System of a Down played an hour and 15. They started a little late. There was some technical problem, but generally speaking, the show was wonderful. And both bands were incredible. And Mars Volta was good, and Viagra Boys was fun. What else this year, man? So much stuff going on with the band. Here are some photos of the band from Sick New World a few years ago by our own Kim Hansen. There's Shavo, Darren, and John. John is so rich, he has like original Batman comics from 1937 and shit. So, you know, it's only like, you know, something you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on. So Kane, I don't think they ran out of money at all. I don't think they are broke at all. I just think now's a good time. They're getting along. They've had a little bit of success this year. They've had some incentive to go do these tours. Like, they believed that they would do well. They must have believed that they were going to sell out at least one day of a stadium in each of those 3 cities, which is very strategic and smart. And as you know, the band was kind of like, so the band had been on a hiatus from, you know, just to really recap, I don't want to do their whole history today, but they did, you know, they were on a hiatus from about 2006 to 2009, 2010. 2010, they come back. They do sporadic shows coming back in the world, tour Europe a little bit, tour America here and there, occasional shows. I think they did a show at the Hollywood Bowl that sold out in like 5 minutes one time in the 2010s. And then, you know, they were kind of like, well, I think we're done again for now. I don't think we want to do too much. And then in a response to the war in Armenia, they put out this charity single, which sold like 1 million copies for charity, which is impressive for any band. And we got the 2 songs, Genocidal Humans, and the other one that escapes me. I have it on the other screen. Let's see. I just had it open. Genocidal Humanoids and Protect the Land. And both of those songs are bangers. And apparently Darren had saved those he was saving them for Scars on Broadway new album, which he's put out one in the meantime. And then he just kind of reworked them with Serj, and Serj got to put his own lyrics and vocals on it. And at that time, Protect the Land was the only music video from the band in 14 years since Lonely Day. And the proceeds from the songs went to help the Armenia Fund for the humanitarian effort after that war. So, you know, just wild, right? And then the plague happened, so not much going on. Serj put out some EPs. Marauding Western Utes is here. What up? We're just talking about System of a Down. Come join the conversation. If you're a fan, let us know. And so they put this single out, and then they were going to do this big-ass tour on the West Coast, and maybe it was going to turn into a full-fledged U.S. tour. System of a Down, Korn, Faith No More, Helmet, and Russian Circles. Then the pandemic happened, so it was totally canceled. Then a year later, it was going to come back, and then Faith No More pulled out, and they have not come back since, actually, even though Mike Patton originally cited his pandemic-era agoraphobia and mental health issues, but then, interestingly, brought back Mr. Bungle and has done tours and festivals with them. But Faith No More kind of on hiatus, as we've learned not too long ago, as a story broken to you know, here by Ghost Cult. That's kind of what we do. We find stories no one else has, and we get them when everyone else does, because we never sleep and we don't love ourselves. But this tour I think there was a handful of these shows that did happen with System, Korn, and Helmet, maybe. I felt kind of bad, or Russian Circles and not Helmet. I'm not sure, but they did a few of those shows, and those were pretty big at sort of bigger venues. And then Sick New World happened. Now, Sick New World was a collaboration between C3 Concerts, who puts on Lollapalooza and Shaky Knees and Bonnaroo, and Lollapalooza, and Velvet Hammer Management. The Eastling is here. Hello, welcome back. Sick New World, which we know had 2 festivals before going going dark this year now, canceled. But System was a huge draw. This thing sold out in minutes, basically because of System, Korn, Deftones. That's why it sold out fast. That's why it was a huge deal. I went to this year. You can check out our review of it and photos. We had an incredible time. I interviewed a bunch of bands. System played a 2.5-hour set. I've never seen anything like it. Easily the best time I've ever seen them. They were incredible. They seemed indefatigable. Like they didn't even get tired. They got better and better as the night went on. Deftones played like an hour and a half. Korn played like an hour and a half, and they were awesome. Incubus, I think, played a solid hour. All the other bands had shorter sets. Brandon Boyd from Incubus rarely has a shirt on. I don't know if you've ever noticed this. He's like the Lenny Kravitz and Brandon Boyd. I look real good, and I'm not going to wear a shirt. But okay, fine. Good band. I was really hoping Incubus would have played more new metal stuff at that show. But, they got the hits. They have to play the hits. That's why they're so popular. So System rocks Sick New World. It's a huge success. They come back with another one. Again, in between, the band really didn't do much. Put out their own little things and rumblings of stuff and a lot of interviews where they talk shit about each other all the time. John and Darren and Serj. And Chavo seems to be the guy everybody likes. He's Switzerland. He doesn't want to fuck with people. Second year of Sick New World was last year. We did not cover this, but it was apparently wildly successful outwardly. System of a Down, Slipknot, Perfect Circle, Chains, Bring Me the Horizon, Primus, Bad Omens, Sleep Token, Lamb of God, Knock Loose, Baby Metal. Huge, huge thing. And it did eventually sell out. And then they announced the third one, which we now know was canceled just recently. And here's Serj's book, which I'm going to talk about in a second. So we know that the fest was canceled, and some people had said, well, no System of a Down, and that's why it didn't sell as well. But they had sold a lot of their tickets already, and they had Metallica and Linkin Park. There's other reasons why that festival went under, which we talked about in a different podcast. But so Serj puts this book out. I have it here. Spoiler alert. We're soon to release all of our end of year content, including Books of the Year video and Albums of the Year and my personal Albums of the Year and a bunch of other listicle things. And so Down with the System comes out, man, and this book is incredible. I hope if you're a big fan of System, you have to get this book. I'll hold it up one more time. Like, you really need this. You need to get this book in your life. It's incredible. His life story is incredible and incredibly sad. And he's so smart and articulate. I know Gabe said earlier he just preaches all day, right? This was your comment earlier, right, Gabe? And I'm sure you're just talking about Serj. Yeah, man. I mean, he's not. I mean, like similar to Rage Against the Machine, he's never off brand. That's his brand is politics. So I think their fans expect him to do this. I don't think it's offensive or off-putting to other people. So, but in the book, he not only talks deeply about world politics and his opinion about a lot of things, and even when System of a Down was welcomed back to Armenia to play the country for the first time, they were paraded around, and there was an attempt to kind of make them something they weren't, a propaganda tool, which made them infuriated and angry, infuriated Serj especially, and Darren. They were so pissed. They almost didn't play the show. They had to get begged to play the show. And but in the book, the number one thing he talks about is, the acrimony. Him and Darren. He's a little older than Darren, and he always kind of had a bigger brother, little brother relationship with the guy. And they care for each other greatly, and they're on the same page about politics, except John, who kind of became a MAGA guy, which is weird, but that's when you get enough money to become a MAGA guy. Evil Kel has joined. Hello. Frida Hernandez is here. Hello. Hope I said that correctly. DJ Pants 76, Damon Scott 138. So in the book, though, like, not only does he talk about their relationships, at one point he was like, listen, I don't want to be in this band anymore with y'all. I am training a protege of mine to replace me, at least audition them and give them a chance. And if they're good, you have my full permission to move on without me. I don't care. By the way, if you're watching and joined on TikTok, feel free to give us some love, show us some hearts, give us a gift, do something. So show me something, help us out, please. So Serj was like, I didn't want to be in the band, so I was like so unhappy being in this band that I begged them. I was like, you guys can continue with the new singer. I will walk. And the rest of them were like, we don't want to do it with another singer. We want you. We want you to want to do it. And he doesn't want to do it. And even in the end of the book, he's like, I'm so much more fulfilled by my solo career and my artwork and composing soundtracks and doing political activism still. And me and the other guys are on like in different places. When we get together, we enjoy each other. We have a common bond. We love making music. We love to perform live. We love the fans. It's not to hurt the fans. However, I'd rather do anything than this band. It's in this book. Spoiler alert for the book. I don't want to do this band at all, let alone forever. Then they turn around and now book these shows. So what in the fuck? What's going on? Serj put his new EP out, Foundations, really good. All his solo music is uniquely different. It's always a little more interesting and different every time. I think it's very similar to Maynard James Keenan of A Perfect Circle, Tool, and Pussifer. Just a different flavor of stuff all the time. And here was Sick New World, canceled now. And people had said maybe it was because System wasn't on it, but they did have Scars on Broadway high up on the bill, as well as Shabo's band 7 Hours After Violet, whose debut album is out now. And Shabo's had a few things. There was this awesome photo gallery exhibition, and Serj has had exhibitions of his artwork and paintings, but this is I Got Pictures on My Wall, the photographic retrospective by Greg Waterman. This took place in LA, I think for a month. Here's one of those photos. This is not a photo I own, but that's pretty amazing looking, gotta say. You know, and in this moment, you would get the warm and fuzzies, like, oh, look at that, man. Look at that crowd, and look at them, you know, with a fist in the air and a peace sign and, you know, being together. But, like, not from all the public acrimony and drama. Not from where I sit. You tell me what you think. Maybe it's bullshit. Here's Shabo's record, 7 Hours After Violet. Pretty cool artwork, I gotta say, for that self-titled debut. And so, yeah, like, I don't know if you have an opinion, like, it can't be just about money, but obviously the money is probably better than it's ever been because they have been so inactive for a long, like, so sporadic and so not a regular touring, functioning band like everybody else. So, you know, maybe that's just the thing now. Maybe that's just where they're at as people. Maybe that's just where they're at. And I'll hold up the book one more time. I realized I had the book held up while I wasn't on screen. Here's the book one more time. Down with the System, Serjtankian, out now from Hachette Press. I highly recommend you get it. Hachette puts out great books on music. They put out several this year that are some of the best in the year. And, you know, like, I'm happy they're back and I'm thrilled they're doing these shows. And I'm going to try to figure out a way to go see one of these stadium shows if I can travel for it, because they already played here and I don't expect them to come back here again too soon. But like, yeah, I thought I hate these guys and I don't want to play with them anymore. Well, now we're going to announce whole stadium shows. Wild shit. So, you know, good for them. Good for them, and it's a good time to be a fan of System of a Down. Take this opportunity if you've never seen them, and you know, and I know that's, let's say, so people went to Sick New World the first 2 years. They paid to fly to America in some cases. Hotels, Vegas used to be like the cheap vacation capital of the world. Is super pricey now. So they, you know, people travel and felt like, oh, I traveled the whole world to see this band. Same thing with Slayer. I traveled the whole world to see that Slayer farewell tour, and then they're coming back. But that's their prerogative, and it was 5 years. And they can come back and play sporadically. They ended up only playing 2 shows out of 3. But, yeah, why are they back? And, like, I would love to hear from them, like, why is now a good time to be back? Can't just be about the money. Yes, the money must be amazing, but not these guys. At least not Serj, and probably not Darren either. But yeah, let's strike while the iron's hot. Go see them now if you can. Don't delay. If you haven't ever seen them, go see them, because, like, it could be over at any time. And again, it's like I predicted about this Oasis tour for next summer. Slow your roll. I don't see this being a multi-year, many-year thing. I think you get however many shows you get out of them, and that's going to be it, and they're not going to come back again. So, you know, if you love System of a Down, awesome. If you're indifferent, there'll be another topic here on the live stream tomorrow. But I want to thank everybody for watching. I'm going to bail, go eat some dinner, and then go do some karaoke. and some metal karaoke down the block from my house. And once again, I wish you all well. I appreciate you being here. If you're new and you made it this far, you're a real one. And Fernando Olguin shows up. Thanks, pal. If I said your name wrong, I'm sorry, but I see you pop in here all the time. But again, thanks for watching. And let's see, Rogers Stadium is yet to open. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Let's just see if I missed some comments here. Regardless of how much money they make and how many stadiums they sell out, band's integrity remains intact. I think so. Can we get a Smiths reunion? We can't get a Smiths reunion, and maybe that will be a topic of another live stream. Let's face it, Morrissey's a dick, but apparently the band has wrested control of the band away from him, at least in Europe, which is very interesting. And I think you will see some kind of Smiths reunion like Sex Pistols with Frank Carter from the Rattlesnakes and not Johnny Rotten. I think you will see a Smiths reunion, but not with that guy. Lost Becomes has popped in. Papa's 675 or 765. Sorry, I'm dyslexic. But anyway, thanks for watching. That's our show for now. I will be back tomorrow with more. Check us out at ghostcoldman.com and all your socials. Thanks for watching. I've been Keith. You've been amazing. Peace.